Hello there, everybody. Welcome to Ludumania. This is Mike the Ludumaniac, only awake for 2 hours and recording early in the morning because I don't have work today. I decided to call off because the snow out there is really horrendous and I'm not going to drive up to work in those conditions. So, instead, I've decided to give Mega Man 2 a shot. This is a game that scarcely needs any introduction whatsoever, considered by many to be one of the best action games of all time, maybe one of the best games, period, sequel to the first Mega Man, the first game I covered here in Ludumania. So, I figured it would only be appropriate to get around to MM2 at some point. I figure I might as well get it out of the way sooner than later. So, let's pick difficult mode, which in Japan is the only difficulty that exists. Normal was added for the Western market, but there isn't too much difference. Just a few of the enemies are tougher, and bosses take twice as much damage on the default difficulty, let's just call it. So, without further ado, 8 Robot Masters. Who do we pick first? Well, Mega Man 2's order of weapons that Masters are weak to is a little bit more variance than other games, but I'm usually start with Metal Man because he's not too bad, his stage isn't too bad, and of course, the weapon you get from him is one of the best in the game. So, let's get right into it then. Also, his stage gives you a freebie energy tank. This is the first game to have energy tanks, although later titles allow you to carry 4 here. Carry 9, I mean. Here you can only carry 4. Doy. Not sure if I should be attempting this so early in the day. I'm usually quite a night owl even when I do have work, and I don't get as much sleep as I probably should. But I think I'm fit to give Mega Man 2 a good play. I mean, certainly my trigger thumb is up and primed to eliminate these burrowing, drilly thingies. Usually, I don't like conveyor belts in video games, but they're not so bad to deal with here. However, we are unable to get that bonus life unless we have one of the platforming items that Mega Man gets from beating certain Robot Masters, but we don't need it just yet. Anyway, these Gear Clowns, very bizarre enemies, but they only take 1 hit, while the Gears take several. But these snaky 4-piece guys, these guys I hate. They take a shot, but then their parts break and fly out towards you. It is very difficult to dodge that. But managed to avoid that one since most of his pieces hit the roof. There's another energy tank there, but I don't think I'll be able to live if I went for it. If I went over the pit to get it. Oh, and I hate these springy guys. They taunt you like that if they hit you. And I think they're indestructible. Maybe there's some special weapon that takes care of them. But anyway, we are already at Metal Man, so let's get right down to that. There's a conveyor belt in his room, and he tosses metal blades the instant you shoot at him. Also, his belt will sometimes change direction. If the screen flashes, watch out for that. If you get too close to him, he'll change sides. Oh, getting a little tense here. Uh-oh. Whoa, that was close. Whew. I wouldn't call him the easiest master to beat, but if you manage to get the rhythm of his jumping and throwing down, you should be able to eliminate him. There, I only took like 3 minutes overall to beat that level. And the Metal Blade, one of the best, if not the best weapon ever in Mega Man history. I'll try not to abuse it, but if things get really iffy, don't blame me for falling back on it. Anyway, where do we go next is the question. Well, I believe Bubble Man is weak to the Metal Blade, but I'm pretty sure that Woodman is also susceptible to it. He's also susceptible to Heat Man's weapon, but I'm going to save Heat Man for last because I kind of hate his level. So, Woodman it is. Classic little jingle there. Anyway, the forest. And the Bubble Bats. One of the more iconic enemies in Mega Man history. The Bubble Bats, also known as the Batontons, which I want to say they were actually called in the Ruby Spears cartoon. They're maybe not as iconic as the Mets, but they have a pretty distinct look about them, and they do appear in several other Mega Man games that I remember. I remember that one makes a cameo in Mega Man X, and he almost always drops a bonus life if you destroy him. But yeah. This gigantic robotic wolf dog guy here shoots fire. I want to say he's actually referred to as a hot dog, but somehow I don't think that's his official name. Could be wrong. But yeah, you have to destroy 2 of them. Wait, I stand corrected. You have to destroy 3 of them, and time your jumps in between his fire streams the best you can. There we go. Oh hey, that one gave me a large life pellet. But yeah, it's an early example of a mid-boss before Mega Man 4 onward went kinda crazy with them, which was necessary to complement the addition of the Charge Buster. Some thought this was a bit of a controversial move that sort of artificially made things a little bit more difficult than they should have been, but I thought it was an interesting change of pace. Anyway, these ape opponents stay down for several seconds before jumping up, although if you try to cross, you'll jump up immediately, and I don't want that, so... Also, the birds with the eggs. The eggs hit down, and lots of little birdies fly out. A bit of a pain to deal with, but they generate a lot of energy. A lot of items, I should say. Got a large energy pellet from there. In return to that rabbit from earlier, he'll toss deadly carrots at you if you give him the chance, but I'm not giving him the chance. Oh, well. I guess I can't not give this one a chance because of the really weird staircase. You know what? I'm going to demonstrate the power of the Metal Blade right now. Behold and fear it. Oops. So yeah, the Metal Blade does not take a lot of energy to throw, and it is powerful, and it can be tossed in 8 directions. So yeah, it's pretty darn awesome. Also, these chicken enemies are very obnoxious, but they'll almost always jump over you if you wait till they get to the middle of the screen. So then, we are already at Woodman. And he is one of the harder Robot Masters, arguably, because he tosses out a lot of deadly leaves that can be hard to avoid. And they fall from the sky like that, for example. We're just going to Metal Blade the hell out of him. And, you know, if you time and pace yourself, he's not so bad. It's just those falling leaves that can be a little bit tricky to deal with. But thanks to the Metal Blade, we have exterminated him in a very short amount of time. And here we get the Leaf Shield, the first of the decidedly useless shield family of Mega Man weapons. Well, maybe not useless, but I'm not the biggest fan of them. I mean, this one's hard enough to use since it flies away if you move. It's like a shield and a projectile at the same time, but... Anyway, let us then go on to Airman, the most mimetic of Mega Man 2's bosses. Because I bet everybody at this point has probably seen the I Can't Defeat Airman video. Gotta admit, it's a pretty neat song. But Airman himself is not so bad if you manage to get the Leaf Shield. Then again, that video posited that they couldn't beat Woodman either, and I just did, so... I think we're in a good position. Anyway, we have these gigantic head-in-the-cloud thingies. Those drill horns of theirs will hurt you if they extend out too far, so let's just wait. Also, their foreheads look like they have small energy pellets in them. I wonder if, like, you hacked this game and you could actually walk into their foreheads, if those would actually restore energy for you. Because that'd be pretty darn interesting. Anyway, we have to ride these cloud platforms and watch out for the guys who toss thunderbolts. And I wonder if those are actual thunderbolts or if they're just, like, really jagged pieces of metal shaped like thunderbolts. Either or, I'm sure they'd hurt. But yeah, slow ride back to ground, and here are these egg-dropping birds again. Usually, if I'm not in need of items, I destroy the eggs before they fall onto the ground. Oh yeah, and this is a weird enemy. It's very annoying. It's like robotic wormholes. We'll be seeing more of those later. But yeah. Let's make sure we don't get spiked by their heads. Watch out for the little guys creeping out as well. Oh yeah, these guys are obnoxious. They will attempt to blow you off the platform. Whoa, 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 whoa. Yeah, you have to watch out for the birds from above. Okay, here's another one. Oh, shoot, watch out. Alright, and then take care of the fan man. There's another one. Those fan guys look like Mega Man if he just lost his marbles at an all-you-can-eat buffet. Alright, we're already at Airman, so let's see if we can defeat him. Or if we even need an energy tank to do so. I'll prepare with the Leaf Shield. The thing is, if you have the Leaf Shield, Airman is pretty simple, but it is quite difficult to actually dodge his air projectiles. Before he can slide under projectiles, it's not easy to deal with. However, all I had to do is hit him with 4 Leaf Shields, and he's already dead. Although, if you're trying to do a Mega Buster only run, I imagine he would be one of the harder bosses to actually beat. But, thanks to Leaf Shield abuse, we have the Air Shooter. But wait, that's not all! You also get one of the assist items, which helps you reach things that you would not normally be able to reach. In this case, Item 2, which is a flying jet sled that allows you to streak over gaps without worrying about falling. It's basically the prototype to Rush Jet. Before Rush was invented in Mega Man 3. I totally lost my train of thought there. Before Rush was invented in Mega Man 3, these items were around. They didn't have a face on them, they weren't nearly as cute, but they are very useful nonetheless. Now, where should we go next? Oh yeah, that's right. Let's shoot for Crash Man, because he is weak to the air shooter. Incredibly weak, as a matter of fact. Very jaunty and bouncy tune for Crash Man's stage, but we have these flying guys that infinitely come out of the pipes. Oh, I'm doing poorly already. Alright, let's just speed back up there before anyone else comes flying out of the pipework. Okay, then. Oh, hey, it's a Met. These little guys are a bit more aggravating to deal with than they were in the first game, since they can actually move now. But not by too much more. Ah yes, the line platforms. Oh man, these little cylinder guys are more annoying than I thought. I may have to bust out the metal blade to make sure they can get off my back. Or actually, you know what? The leaf shield would be incredibly useful here, too. I think there's another screen like this, so I'll demonstrate the potential the leaf shield has. So, buzz off. This is probably the best use of the weapon I can think of, where we aren't forced to throw it. It can act as an infinite shield against these floating pests. But yeah, that's enough of that. Oh, not these guys. Oh, I hate these jerks. I think there's another one later in the stage. At least one more, probably more than one. But yeah. Uh-oh, met in the platform. Watch out. If he knocks you off, you have to climb back up 2 more screens. And I'm sure nobody wants that at this point. And yes, the background just grew a bit darker. Very neat scene transition here. Go up again. And hey, it's all black. Oh, that is very difficult to defend against. Kind of a cheap shot. Oh, jerk. Well, I'm down to about 1/4 of my life, so we've got to be super careful if we can help it. Wait, I don't have to be careful. I have the metal blade. I promise I would not succumb to this, but I'm playing for keeps at this point, so I better be careful. Oh, hey, you know, I admit that's going to be useful to... No, it's on the other side. That's going to take too long to get... Forget it! Let's just continue on as we were and as we are. There's an energy tank, but we can't get back up here. Or can we? Let's just use item 2. Normally, it's for horizontal movement, but we can use it for vertical platform movement in this case as well. And hey, look, it's a bonus life. However, we have these very annoying propeller guys who fly right to your position. However, they can only suffer 1 metal blade before collapsing. And here I am abusing it. Whoops. Yeah, very novice of me to just cling to the metal blade. But, you know. I'm just playing this whatever comes to mind. Alright, so here's Crash Man. He's pretty powerful, tosses these crash bombs that explode. However, he's not powerful enough to sustain more than 3 shots of the air shooter. I've heard that if you time it just right, you can hit him with all 3 mini tornadoes and kill him instantaneously. I don't think I've ever been able to do that. But it's nice to know nonetheless. So, the Crash Bomb. Bit of a tricky weapon to use, Crash Bomber I should say, but very useful in certain situations. In fact, it's going to be quite useful for Flashman's level, so let's go to his next. Ol' invisible domey head guy. Curiously enough, though, his stage plays like the requisite ice level because these platforms are all slippy-slidey. But as far as I know, time doesn't have anything to do with ice, so it's a little bit of an odd fusion there. Anyway, you will notice here this wall. Those walls are destructible by crash bombs, but I'm not going to use one just now. Also, you have to watch out for these pellet shooty guys. They're all over this level. Oh, hey, a bonus life. Let's see if we can use item 2 to weasel our way up there. Oh, just missed. Let's try again. And got it. Woo. I think it'd be more practical to use item 1 for that, but I don't have item 1 just yet. In fact, I think that's the item you get from beating Heatman, and I'm going to save his level for last. So that doesn't help me very much. Oh, crap! Sniper Joe returns, and he's piloting this jumpy walker mech, which is very much like the Big Eye from the first game. Something gigantic that takes a lot of life if it squishes you, and takes quite a few hits to destroy. I'm not going to get that just now. I don't really need a big energy pellet. Oh, but we have these wormholes. So what are we gonna do? Of course, Metal Blade it. Those snaky jerks that I don't like very much. Alright, so... what should we do, you idiot? Fell right down onto the mech, did not mean to do so. It's the caveat of ice physics. Nobody likes them, but they are what they are. But hey, we got an energy tank for our troubles. Now, let me demonstrate the crash bomb. There we go, so we don't have to deal with that. Uh-oh. Crap, did not mean to fall down here. Well, let's shoot him before he can shoot us. But yeah, they behave like regular Sniper Joes after you destroy the mechs. So if you're familiar with their behavior from the first game, it should all be familiar. Just try not to jump too high there. Alright, now it's time to fry Flashman. He, I believe, is susceptible to crash bombs, but it doesn't do very much damage if you hit him directly. No, it's tricky to do, but what you want him to do is to jump into a crash bomb's explosion. And, oh my god, it drains so much life from him. It's not easy to rig up, though. In fact, it might be preferable for some just to use the Mega Buster. But hey, he's down to one more point of life, so I'm just gonna hit him directly with that last one. Wow, that actually worked out much better than I thought it would. But yeah, Flashman, if you can't hit him with Crash Bomb explosions, he is one of the easier Robot Masters to beat just using the Buster, so no shame if you just have to stick to the basics. So the Time Stopper, a very unique weapon that one is. Oh, and item 3, I believe you get from this one. Probably the most ad hoc of the items. It's only useful in a few areas as it helps you scale walls. But I can think of a few uses for it, so it's good to have around nonetheless. In fact, you are almost directly encouraged to give Quickman stage a try after beating Flashman, because there's a use for item 3 right out the starting gate. But yeah, if any of you are already familiar with Mega Man 2, you know what Quickman stage entails. A very nasty and infamous instant death trap. But first I'm going to use item 3 to scale up this wall and grab this extra life. We may or may not need it. Let's just see how this turns out. Alright, the robotic wormholes. Okay. Already, we're going to get into some tough stuff here. The Quickman laser beams of instant obliteration. Everybody hates them. Nobody is very cool with them. But as you see there, since I didn't take the right path, which could have killed me, I missed quite a bit of bonus swag. It's okay, we should be able to deal with the stage nonetheless. I always like this gimmick. The Firehead guys illuminate the level, but after you destroy them, then it all goes dark. Alright, this is the true test of metal. Can we deal with these quick beams without getting it zapped? Well, these areas are sort of ergonomically designed for Mega Man's movement and jump ability. So if you know what you're doing, it's actually not so bad to deal with. Many years of playing this game have sort of burned this area into my brain. So you'll be able to get good at this too. It just takes lots of practice and frustration. Of course, if you're not able to clear it easily, then you can use Flashman's Time Stopper to freeze the beams and fall down that area without any major fuss. Oh, hey, getting sandwiched by mechs. Oh, hey, that's not fair or nice. The mech immediately respawned off-screen. But rather than get squished, I used the invincibility window, just run past, and it barely worked. Now, for the Time Stopper, I usually like to save it for Quickman himself, who is one of the harder, if not the hardest Robot Master to fight. However, the Time Stopper drains half of his life when used. For the other half, though, you're on your own. Like Flashman, he is susceptible to Crash Bomb explosions, but it might not be easy to rig up, so... Oh, I'm getting blitz here. Here, I'm going to use an energy tank. because that crash probably would have killed me. But if it didn't, if it wouldn't have, then I just wasted my E-Tank. It's okay. That's better safe than sorry in this case, because Quickman is a jerk. He does, however, give you one of the cooler weapons, probably, I'd say, the second most powerful, the Quick Boomerang. It's not quite the Metal Blade, but it's fast, doesn't consume a lot of energy, and it tears through enemies like there's no tomorrow. So next up, let us go for Bubble Man. I always used to pick his stage first because he was in the upper left corner, and I just naturally patterned my mind to thinking that that would be the natural starting point. Anyway, a really cool but slightly distracting background. Don't let it distract you from the gigantic frogs and the little mini frogs that they spit out. And yeah, if these platforms look suspicious, it's because they fall like the instant you land on them, although if you're quick enough, you can jump off of them without them falling. And then we have the crabby guys here, who you shoot their shells, and then they get peeved, and then they're very hard to hit. As I recall, in normal difficulty, they die instantly if you hit their shells, without them reverting into an unshelled, angry state. But they're one of the only enemies I can think of that are really affected by that besides Robot Masters. Oh wait, gigantic anglerfish spitting out krill? It looks like Robo Krill, Robo Shrimp, Robo Plankton? Robo Shrimp, let's just go with that. So yeah, underwater, Mega Man jumps higher, but that's not a great thing in this case, because if you jump too high, you will hit a low overhead of insta-death spiky urchins. So just be careful. If you have to use the invincibility window from these robotic jellyfish enemies, then by all means, whatever can help you out. Run into them deliberately and the spikes won't kill you. Mega Man 2 added the concept of mercy invincibility even when it came to spikes. Not like the first game, where falling in spikes no matter what was a death sentence. In fact, I think it's something that speedrunners often do, which I am most certainly not, but they use mercy invincibility to cheat their way around areas that would otherwise be deadly. Alright, the last leg here has these falling crabs. Be careful, because if you jump in midair and one falls down on you, it can knock you down into the gap. So I'm going to be patient. That one falls behind me. Easy to deal with. Another guy going to fall, or... Okay, that's it. Alright, good. And we are already at Bubble Man's door. Bubble Man, who is one of the easier Robot Masters to beat, is, like Woodman, also susceptible to the Metal Blade. However, I have full life, so I'm going to show off a bit and see if I can beat him without the Metal Blade. He fires bouncing bubbles while shooting at you with his water pressure cannon. And he is one of the few bosses you can instantly die on, but only if you jump too high. But yeah. I'm going to show off and see if I can beat him without sustaining any fatal injuries, and just with the Mega Buster. If there's any one boss to show off on, I'll make it Bubble Man, because he is, I feel, one of the easier ones to deal with. It's pretty easy to dodge his bouncing bubbles, and you don't take too much damage if you get hit by his cannon, so there we have it. He does, however, give you one of the less practical weapons to use in the game. I call it the Bubble Lead, but I've heard it's actually the Bubble Lead. I always just assume it was lead because it was heavy and traveled across the ground, like it was made out of lead despite being a bubble, so I don't know. Anyway, all we have left is Heatman's stage, which I feel is the hardest of the levels to beat. There is one scene in particular which particularly justifies this. However, I do dig the primarily red color scheme. Right off the gate, we start with these obnoxious propeller enemies that we met back in Crashman's stage. Also, these further annoying popcorn enemies, which also came from Crashman's stage now that I think about it. They might be able to knock you down to the lava, but I think you won't instantly die if you land on the lava while you are flashing. I'm not going to test that theory, I'm just going to be as careful as I can. I do know, however, if you fall down to that dark pit, then that's the end of you, so... And then we have these obnoxious springy guys. Oh, I hate you. Ugh. I hate enemies that mock you if you fail. Yep. Heatman's level is that one with the Yoku blocks. Returning with a vengeance from Iceman's level in the first game. Now we have to deal... Actually, Electman's level had them too, now that I think about it. I want to say/hope this is the only stage that has those, but I don't remember. There might be one... I'm almost certain there's one in Wily's level that also has the Yoku blocks. However, there are items you can use to cheat your way around the blocks imposing upon you. In fact, I think we can use item 3 to scale this wall without any major pain. Or we can use a crash bomb to blow our way through the center and not have to scale the wall. So let's do just that. Because, darn, I hate these things, and you should too if you don't already. Alright, are we coming up to that part? I think we're coming up to that part. Oh god, yeah, it's that part. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to one of the hardest platforming challenges in this game, and I'm already losing my nerve at trying to do it. Oh, Lord. Yeah, I'm just going to keep item 2 on standby, but I want to see if I can beat it legitimately. Then again, I haven't lost any lives yet, and I sort of want to at least get to Wily's castle without having lost a life first, if it's feasible to do that. Oh, shoot, I got bumped out. So yeah, you get bumped down by these platforms, and then you're expected to jump over a large fire pit. But I'm having a hard time keeping my footing on practice, so oh, screw it. Let's just put down item 2 and roll with it, shall we? It's not cheating if the game practically has, I'm stumbling over my own words, but no, it's not cheating. It's perhaps the wussy easy way out, but I was having trouble retaining my footing there, and I could be here all the time trying to solve it, but I see I'm already over half an hour at this point. So I want to beat up Heatman quickly, and then cut the video, then make a part 2 out of the infiltration of Wily's castle. So, with the bubble lead/lead, which is technically a water-based weapon, Heatman falls very quickly to it. Like that. So, yeah, a little unceremonious. Easier than the gigantic stretch of, jerkness that I failed to legitimately cross, but, oh well, I just did not feel very patient dealing with it. Anyway, you get the Atomic Fire, which is basically a prototype to the Mega Buster, since you can actually charge the Atomic Fire up for a much more powerful blast. And you also get Item 1, which shoots out floating platforms that will be mandatory to complete Wily's first stage. But I'll be cutting this video now, and saving the storm on Wily's castle for part 2. But let's at least get to the start, shall we? Big ol' eyebrows taunting you with his waggle. And here we are at Wily's castle. Yep, this is the first game to have the traditional map screen, which Mega Man 1 did not have. Alrighty, this is the music that everyone knows, but I'm not going to get to it just now. I will make a second video probably immediately after this, but I need to take a break. I need some sort of water, and it's not professional just leave things running while nothing's going on. So, break for now. Thanks for tuning in to Ludumania. Check back in a bit for the second part, and Wily will fall eventually. So this here is Mike, ready for whatever comes at me. Take care until next time.